So what we did is we built an API whereby you can plug some key components of our system into any existing web page. Doesn't matter where it is, what it is. I don't care if it's a corporate website, something that a kid made in their basement. It doesn't matter. You can plug components of our system into it. So let's just assume the page we're looking at is my corporate portal. It's got all kinds of junk on it. But I want to do two things. I want to give the ability of everybody in my organization to submit a service request at any time, and I want them to be able to find where people are seated at any time. So we have two components here, a couple of examples of them. One of them is a service request component. Hey, I want to create a new service request. And the other is a people finder component. So I can put a button, I can put a link, whatever I want to, a picture, doesn't matter. It's pure HTML. I'm going to show you just how complex and complicated the code is, and that's a joke because it's not. So I click on here, and a button opens up, and guess what? This one is configured where I don't care who the person is, so I'm just going to put in a generic web requester. On your corporate portal, you could be using all of your LDAP integration, anything that you want, and pass to this thing the actual individual that's making the request. That's entirely up to the organization and how they want to implement it. But the long and short of it is, I open up our standard service request dialog. Whatever configurations I have for this functional group, they'll show up. So if I don't want a whole bunch of crap here, it doesn't have to be there. And then I simply fill it out, and this is where it's going to puke, by the way, because it's 2 years old and the APIs have changed a bit. But I just fill it out. This is what I want to do, and type in something, whatever, and then hit save. And it's actually going to puke here and say it's looking for something else. But the reality is that's it. A button, and away we go. We've submitted a request. I would suggest to you the comments tab should probably go away because it's on your portal. It's not like Requester where I can now go back and review and comment back and forth. This is just a simple, hey, I got a problem, come fix it. But you could do pictures if you wanted to. The other piece is the Finder piece. So if I wanted to come in and type in Alex, and I want to find out where Alex block sits, I find his name, I click on it, and poof, it opens up the drawing, and it tells me the property, building, floor, and space that they live in. So that is an example of how we embed components of Evolve outside of the Evolve environment into our corporate portal, our corporate web page, our mobile application, whatever it is you want, you can actually implement those things in here. And the sweet part of this is from our perspective, from the code required to do it from our side, there's next to nothing to it. So we're looking at the corporate portal page from the back end. We're looking at the code that displays that right now. So to embed these things, you would simply literally copy this block and stick it at the top of your corporate portal. And you would make sure that all of these pages, this one folder called EFM_scripts, you just put that on your server at your corporate page level. You stuff this into your page. You're done. You're referencing everything that we need as far as within your portal page. And then these blocks down here are just examples of how to create a button or create a hyperlink or, embed that lookup into it, because that lookup is actually an embedded item that you literally one line of code. That's really all you need right there, and you've just embedded our people finder component in your thing. So that's the HTML side of it. The only other two files you have to worry about from the Evolve aspect of things are two files that come in, which is the Evolve Web Dialog config and the Evolve Web Viewer config. And most of this stuff down here, you don't have to touch at all. These are those variables we talked about as far as, hey, I want to pass a specific user. You could create code that says, I'm going to look at my LDAP. I'm going to pass that specific user ID. And if they're a different language, that user's language along with it, and create a service request or do whatever we want to do. By default, it's just going to use this web requester piece. Then you just have to give it paths to wherever you have Evolve. So Evolve could be up on the ADSI site, the hosting site. You would simply give it the HTTP path to that. It could be on your local internal site. You give it the HTTP path. You simply need to set these configurations correct to point to the server. That's it. That's all there is to actually setting this up. Now let's talk about the reality of it. Our part is easy on this. If this is done internally on a corporate website, you now have to deal with the IT department in that corporation. And what is their security? Are they allowing you to go out to other sites? Will their server accept requests from outside sites? That's all internal IT stuff that we can't answer those questions for you because that's the client-specific IT infrastructure. So our components can talk freely to the servers. The IT setup for their infrastructure needs to make sure that I can get through to these paths that I set up here from that corporate network. And that's all on their IT department. That's not us. That's, in most cases, not you. It's the IT department for that particular organization. But that's the long and short of it. This really is not rocket science. It's kind of prepackaged for you, ready to go. What people see on that request dialog is all our normal configurations for that functional group. Nothing fancy, nothing unique about it. You just pop this code in and away you go. You now have the ability to do this stuff from any outside page whatsoever. So let's take a look at Requester itself. So the alternative to what we just saw, hey, I want a very quick, down and dirty, easy way to pump something in. It would be on your corporate portal. I can put that stuff in, and now I have easy links to it. If you want to get into, hey, I want the user to be able to see, what they submitted and look at a grid and be able to comment back and forth on it, now you're into an application. You're not into a link on a corporate portal. You're into an application, and that's what this is. That's exactly what Requester is it allows me to see the service requests that I have submitted. I can also go in and comment on them. So it would be nice if I spelled that correctly. So I can submit comments on that particular request and get them back and forth. By the way, anytime you see this little envelope, it's a link to an email, and it's just a mail to link, which opens up your email on your local system to send something. So right now it's trying to open this up, and it just pre-fills out who I'm sending it to, the message from Evolve, blah, 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 blah. And then you have the ability to do pictures on here. But Requester is geared at, hey, I want people to be able to check the status, see what they've submitted. If you use individual logins, then they're going to see only the things that Requester submitted. If you decide to set up an anonymous login, then yes, you would see the requests from everybody that submitted it. But there's where you decide whether you're, if it's embedded locally, you can integrate with LDAP and all those other fun things that will automatically make that crap happen. But that's what Requester is about. And Requester, just to be clear, so we have Requester and we have People Finder. These are what we consider corporate tools. We do not require a license for every user of either of these. A client says they implement Evolve, hey, we want Requester and we want Finder because we want everyone in our organization to be able to get it, submit a service request and find out where people are. I have 500 people in my organization. Do I have to buy 500 licenses? No. I have 4 people that actually manage the system, and then I have 500 users. I need a total of 5 licenses. 4 for the people that are using it every day, and 1 for the corporation as a whole. requester and finder consume a single license, even if there's 500 people hitting it at the same moment in time. So let's just put the logistics behind this. What happens when you log in to requester or finder? It simply consumes a single license, doesn't care how many people are using requester or finder at that given time. That's all it's going to consume. It's just going to look, it's going to look to say, is there a license available? Yes, there is. Great. Here we go. We'll talk a little bit about moves, because actually there's a few things I want to show Pat in here that she'll be very pleased about. So let's talk a little bit about this, moves in general. With moves, there's essentially multiple ways that they can come in. So we have move requests. So if I happen to, in my organization, I'm implementing requests, and Sally wants to move from room 1 to room 2, I can see a list of those requests. I can manage those here directly without ever going to the Move Projects and Move Planner, so I can execute moves or generate work orders from here. So, hey, I don't need the hardcore heavy lifting stuff, but I get 50 requests in every month for moves. Excuse me. I'm going to bundle these things together every once in a while and send them out to someone to actually execute them. That can all be done here from the Move Request piece. Move Projects is the next level of depth. Hey, I actually want to start grouping and planning these things. So I'm going to create a Move Project, and this Move Project, in many organizations, what is it? This Move Project is called This Week's Moves. That's really what it's called. And we go in and we pull this crap together, and then we execute on it, and then next week we have more stuff to put in it. But a Move Project is fairly simple. I'm going to open this dialog up, only because there's a lot of stuff on it. So I just expand the dialog the whole way so that it looks like it's an actual module here. Tons of stuff, as much or little information as you want, you can add to the move itself. And there's all kinds of tools here if you're working with groups. Hey, give you an example, we do our weekly moves, and we do our moves on Saturday, and by Friday at noontime, we're not accepting any more into the project. I might have 50 people contributing to the project. I could lock them out by simply hitting lock here, and now that whole move project is locked down, period, no more additions made to it. And I won't go into too much detail, but so here from moves, I have the ability to do multiple things here. I can add people to this list from that move request list. Hey, I'm going to add these 5 move requests into this project. I can add occupants directly to my move list, or I can add assets directly to my move list. And if I add occupants to my move list, I can say, hey, any asset that's assigned to them, I want to move with them as well. I hit that checkbox. I'll add Gilbert to my list here, and poof, there we go. He's on my list. If I want, I can manage all of this here very much in the same way. So you can see Gilbert's been added and his assets have been added, indicated by the icons here. So I can select a group or a subset of this, and once again, I can either execute these moves. Yep, this is what I want to do. I've opened up these records. I'm moving all these people to these locations. Go ahead and just execute them, or I can generate work orders. So there's I just want to create lists and groups, and I want to execute on it. So that's level 2 of move management. Let's go to level 3 of move management. Level 3 of move management is, okay, I have the list of all the people I want to move. I'm not exactly sure where I want to move them to or what I want to do with them, so let's open up that project in Move Planner. And in Move Planner, I'll see a list of all the drawings that represent the floor plans to which or from which people may be moved, and I can add additional ones if I want to. So I can come in here and add a space plan for Harmon Medical Center as an example. So now I have 2 floor plans available in my list. I click on the floor plan, it opens up in this Move Planner. This Move Planner shows me a drawing, but it is very different from the drawing viewer component because it's focused exclusively on moves. So if I go over to themes, yes, I can pick on a space and I can see what it is and see its attributes. Yes, I can turn some layers on and off if I want. But themes is different. It's actually highlights. And there are 3 default highlights. People are moving to this space, people are moving from this space, or this space is assigned to another move on a different project. So you can instantly see that, hey, I have people moving from these spaces for a particular project. I can go over to my occupant list and take a look at all the occupants that are in this move project. And I can, if they have a check mark, I've already assigned them to someplace. If they don't, I can assign them. So I'm going to take Gilbert, and I'm going to say Gilbert's going to go there. And, hey, this space has a planned head count of 0. Do you actually want to do this? Yes, I do. And then it opens up this dialog. Let's talk a little bit about this dialog. This dialog gives you the option to set as much information as you want on it. I want to unassign assets when this move is created. I want to create separate work orders for each asset. And here's your list of assets that you can move with the person. You would pick which assets you're going to move with the person. But none of this is necessary. So I'm going to hit cancel there and talk about how easy is it to do what-if scenarios. I want to do what-ifs. I'm not sure if this is the move I want. Great. I'm going to take Gilbert. I'm going to put him here. I'm going to take Ali, and I'm going to put him there. All I have to do is just click Save once that's open. So this is my what-if scenario stuff. And now you're noticing that we have highlights showing up that people are moving to those spaces. So those highlights are a little bit different. And if I had assigned from other projects, you'd see a different color there. And then you also have the ability on your highlights to do a couple of things. You have manual highlights where, hey, I'm doing this plan and I want to make a presentation and I want these people to know, whatever. These highlights are not based on specific data. They're based on, I want to call attention to this, whatever it is. Let's say, for the lack of other explanation, let's say that we consider these offices up here as premium space because they overlook a park or something. I don't know. So I can just call attention to those and add highlights to that. And again, I can use as many as highlights as I want. For the purposes of doing the planning, maybe I want to create what we call dynamic highlights, which are based on data. I can apply one at a time. And one of the most common ones I want to see is, hey, I'm planning a move. I might want to see what spaces are available to me on this drawing. Of course, none are going to highlight in this drawing. Perfect. I'll open up the other drawing in a minute, but you can apply another highlight. So these are my what-if scenarios. These give me hey, I'd like to see what this thing looks like and plan on where these people may go. And I can create as many of these as I want. I could create the History Department Relocation Option 1, History Department Relocation Option 2, and just be able to create as many what-if scenarios as I want, present those, review those, take a look at those, make a decision on one, and execute on it.
Lower right-hand corner under Manual, Phase 1, Marketing, open parentheses 20, and then 3633 square foot. I presume I know the answer, but what is the 20 and what's
those
the
are all manually
33 calculated? Say again?
Yeah, those are, well, actually, so the name is manually entered. The numbers are how many spaces in this project are assigned to that highlight. And we have 2 drawings here, so if I go over to another drawing, you'd see there's actually 20 and 13. So not on this specific drawing, but this entire project, how many spaces are assigned to that.
Okay, and that's the total square foot
Yep.
that is in the spaces that are being rearranged. Okay, great.
That is correct. That is correct.
That's confirmation. Thank you.
So that's at the highest level moves, and we certainly could do a deeper dive into this at some other point.